Hello friends, this is the Cryptonian taking a look at Bitcoin, but we're going to explore a few other things as well. Also, I want to get into uh, Aave. I think Aave is at a critical point. We need to be aware of that. And because I really think that it's a big opportunity. We'll get into that in a little bit. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for your time. I would appreciate it if this content is valuable to you. Please give us a like, subscribe for additional content. Let's get into it. Here we see Bitcoin currently is at 25,900. 25,900, right about, whoops, let me get my marker out, right about here. Okay. And we see an uptick in the in price predicted with the prediction tool that picks up underlying patterns, which is not really, it's not really surprising because that's pretty much what we've been doing lately and recently here. But when we take a closer look, what's important is this here. We see a pin bar here. This is what's called a hammer, and that's bullish. We went up, came back down, consolidated, and we went up strongly again. We were rejected, but that doesn't mean that we're going lower. Okay, that doesn't mean that we're breaking down below 24,950 or 900. What this is really interesting because we've been at this level for a while, and we do have a possibility of moving higher there. I think that right now 24,900 here that I have marked out at this line as being a critical point. I think it's holding up pretty well so far. Now we need to be aware that we do have receding prices. We did get rejected by the 200, but I really think that we're going to make another push and test that 200 again. If we get through that, we're going to be going much higher, and that is something we all need to be aware of. So Bitcoin right now is at an interesting point, and it's critical because if we break down, we have a ways to go. That being said, taking a look at the daily, we can see that on the daily we were rejected by the 50 and the 200, excuse me, the 50 and the 30. The 50 and the 30. I guess you could say the 200 as well, although we did go above that. Now, here's something on the daily we need to be aware of. This is very important. So please pay attention. And I'm going to get rid of the other indicator just so we can focus on this. Look, our 200 is right here. Okay, we are currently below the 200, getting rejected by it, although not in a hard rejection yet, right? Then we have the 30, which is here. Okay, rejected by the 30 as well. And usually in a downtrend, the 30 is a point of rejection where the bears will come in and short. Above that, we have the 50. Now, what's important to understand, important to remember, is that the 50 is here, and the 200 is right below it, and they are converging together. They're on a path, they're on a collision path to converge together. So we are getting to a critical point, not too distant in the future. We're looking at maybe another week or so. Bitcoin has about another week, maybe not even that. And these two will cross. Now, what does that mean? Well, when we had the cross up, where the 50 crossed over the 200 right here, this is what's called a golden cross. A golden cross, 50 over 200 golden cross, that is very bullish. You can see that as these two approached each other, as the 50 approached from the bottom at an angle of attack moving higher, there was a lot of volatility and there was a big reaction in price. Although we did have a small dip here, that was purchased pretty quickly, and then we moved much higher. Now, that is what's called a golden cross. That's very bullish, okay? The opposite is also true. Here we have the 50 and the 200 coming very close, And if they cross, it's called a death cross. A death cross, very bearish. So do we have, the question is, are we so oversold that we cannot go lower? Well, no, of course not. Of course not. We do have a lot. We have a node even developing here. So there's a lot of sellers that can sell that have purchased just recently. There's a lot of sellers that purchased in this area, or excuse me, a lot of buyers that purchased in this area that could sell if this continues to go lower. Now on the daily, we're predicting an impulse to the upside. However, I do agree with that. However, I'm not sure how far. Not sure how far it will go. It depends on if the buyers are strong enough to get through that node. Remember I told you that if we're below that node, that's bearish. And we are currently down here below that node, right? So what we need to be aware of here over the next few days I'd say over the next few days, maybe to the week, depending if we have an impulse higher or if we just go sideways. This looks like it could turn into a bear flag where we just go like this and then break down. And again, I would love that because I would be buying because that's the golden pocket. And we may hit the golden pocket because a lot of the buyers may not want to buy here because this is not the ideal setup. So let me make this clear. On the short time frame, on the shorter time frame, on the 4 hour, we're seeing a little bit of buying coming in here. And we see that we already hit that. Let's see, we already hit the 30 and the 50 and we were rejected. Ooh, that's not good, guys. That's not good. A lot of volatility, but we're still not able to hang on to that on a Wednesday, and usually the end of the week is bearish. Let's see how far this will go. Let's see how far this will go. And then we have the 200 up here. Now look at what happened on the 4 hour. Look at what happened on the 4 hour when we had the death cross. Okay? Look what happened when we had the death cross right here. We had the death cross right here on the 4 hour already. And what did that do to the price? That put us into a sideways consolidation, but eventually just kind of went down. When the bulls could not push higher and regain the 200 and the 50 and reverse that death cross, we eventually had capitulation and people started selling. So that being said, what do you think will happen on the daily when we get that death cross? The death cross is coming, and the only way that we can avoid that is if we go into higher prices here. We've got to get above the 200 here, okay? We got to get above that, which is going to be 27,200. We need to get above that to be able to prevent that death cross from occurring, and we need to do it quickly. We need to do that within the next, I would say probably the next week, right? Or earlier, the next few days. So that's going to be a challenge for the bulls. So what can we expect if that death cross occurs right here? Well, obviously we showed on the 4 hour that the bulls don't like that. They sell and the bears take control. That is a bearish event. So if we have on the daily here a death cross, I'm probably thinking we will break down and hit that golden pocket down here. That would be my expectation, right? Now that being said, if we get the death cross but the price continues to grind this area out and then eventually get above the 200 and start moving higher, that's going to be very, very bullish indeed. And the larger players would like that death cross because then the large players can start buying from those that are short-term holders, those that are new, those that don't have the resources to scale in, those that are less experienced, the larger players will like an event like that where they can um, start buying for their long-term positions and purchase off of those that are selling out of fear. Remember, we talked about this in the previous video. Fear and greed run the market. Okay? So this is very, very important. Be aware of this. Um, I'm waiting for this to. I'm waiting to see if this is going to occur. I'm waiting to see, what's going on with prices, and I really want to see. I would really like to see Bitcoin dropping down into the golden pocket, 21, 22,000. I think that'd be perfect. So that being said, just a teaser. This video is going to be a little bit too long. I'll make a separate video for Aave. But just a teaser here. Look at Aave. Aave is in a very critical position at this point in time. We do see a pattern projection moving higher from here, which is quite possible, but it really depends on Bitcoin. I'm telling you, if Bitcoin does not hang on to that 24,900 and it breaks down, then you're going to see Aave break down, and then you're going to see this change. The prediction will change. So, but right now at this time, we are at a very, very critical area. 1, 2, 3, 4 times this area has been tested. We are in a what's called a descending triangle where the impulses get weaker and weaker, and eventually, if it continues, it will drop down below 50, right? This is Aave. In my opinion, that is going to be the time to buy, under 50. Where has it been in the past? Where has Aave been in the past? Aave's been almost to 500 in the past. So that is at 50, if it goes back to where it was, that is a 10x. Look at this. Actually, it went above that. It went to 621. So if it even hits 500, like it did before, from 50, that is a 10x on your investment. Not bad. You change 1,000 into 10,000. You change 10,000 into 100,000. So think about it. Think about it. I'll take a little bit of a closer look with Aave in the next video. I don't want to make this too long. I'm trying to keep the videos shorter. So anyway, there you have it, friends. Impending possible breakdown with Bitcoin because of the death cross coming. We need to be very aware of that. We need to pay attention, because if that occurs, then we're going to see much lower prices, I believe. However, I think a lot of the large players will be buying the fear. And of course, I'll be buying the fear when we drop into that golden pocket. Golden pocket, let's take a look here. I'll go ahead and move that out. And then we'll take a look at the golden pocket where that lands really quick here. Let's put it on the weekly. And here we go. Put it on the weekly, and our golden pocket from here to here. Whoops. That's I'm sorry. That's the wrong tool. I was looking at different analysis. That's a little bit later. All right. So where would that exactly drop us? Well, I said in previous video 0.5. 23,733. That is the 0.5 Fibonacci. Okay. And by the way, on the weekly, we're showing some kind of an impulse higher and then kind of a slow grind lower. Although we may not see an impulse. We may see it roll over. Now we may see impulse a little bit higher because of the weekend. We need to pay attention. The weekend might have, on low volume, a pump We don't know. That being said, if we do break down point of interest 23,733.5 fib, that would be an excellent place to start purchasing, scaling in. And 0.61 Fibonacci 21,860, that would be another excellent place to scale in. That is, of course, on the weekly. Now this may take a little bit of time to develop, but we're going to see that challenge. We're going to see that challenge of the death cross coming up within just a few days. Okay, so that being said, this right here is the most important imminent event right now. Now on the PMI, we see, let's talk about that real quick. PMI came in, it was forecasted 52.7. It is now 54.5. The forecast, or excuse me, I'm sorry. Previously it was 52.7. It was forecasted 52.5. And we came in above by a couple of points, 54.5, which means that manufacturing is actually improving a little bit. Okay, so which shows that the economy is still strong. Okay, the economy is still strong. So with a good number like that, showing that production has even strengthened a little bit, it'll be interesting to see what Bitcoin does and what the market does. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm going to wrap it up. I'll talk about Aave in the next video. Take care. We'll see you next time.